Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 best Black Ops 6 loadouts. So far, I am at Prestige 5, halfway through to Prestige Master now, and I feel like I've used enough weapons, enough different loadouts to tell you my best loadouts, my top 10 best loadouts in Black Ops 6, kind of tell you my best SMG loadout, my best assault rifle loadout, my overall favorite loadout, and just talk you through my best class setups. Of course, these are subject to change in the future as we get new attachments, new weapons, etc. But for now, I'm going to share with you my top 10 best Black Ops 6 loadouts. But if you haven't seen on the side there, have you subbed to Tazx Gold for a free cookie yet? If you haven't, no cookie for you. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about these class setups. I'm going to be talking about just the loadouts, like as in the weapons specifically. The class setups itself, the perks and that typically stay the same. But we're going to start with the saug, of course, brand new to Season 1. Some people label this gun pretty overpowered. I think it's perfectly in the same, like, the right mix. It might get nerfed. We could see it happen in the future because a lot of people are using this. I don't think it's that overpowered, though. It might be a little bit different in Warzone. I'm not sure what the Warzone meta is, but this is more for multiplayer more than anything. But we're rocking the compensator, the reinforced barrel, the vertical foregrip, the extended mag 1, ergonomic grip, balanced stock, and recoil springs. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Taz, you can have an extra attachment. Why aren't you picking a laser optic? There's no point having a laser because you don't want people to see your laser. All these lasers are visible to other players, and an optic on this weapon isn't needed in my opinion. But if you want to, you can. Obviously, I am using primary gunfire as well on that class set. Most of these are going to take advantage of primary gunfire because I feel like it's a little bit overpowered using primary gunfire in this game along with free perks. It seems to be the meta at the moment. But there are some that, well, I have one class setup that's using perk grid. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you want the rest of my class setup, I'm just using, well, concussions at the moment because I'm leveling up, but I would use stim shots most of the time. Blast traps, please use these. These are absolutely broken. I don't get why most people don't use them. They are absolutely disgustingly broken. And then flat jacket, dispatcher, and quartermaster seems to be the best setup in my opinion. However, you can change these for things like shadow is pretty useful because obviously other people could be using blast traps. You could even change flat jacket for ninja to not be sound hauled a little bit. Sometimes tap mask, but most of the time I'd go with flat jacket anyway. And yeah, that's pretty much the class setup for most of the weapons. Like, they're all going to be taking advantage of that same thing. The same with the pistol. I'm not going to talk about the pistol too much because I haven't really leveled these up yet. However, when this comes available, this is going to be easily the best weapon, like secondary in the game. So I would definitely take advantage of that if I were you. But that's the saug out of the way. Let's get into the Krig C. Now, this is one of my favorite assault rifles. We, of course, dropped the nuked out with this. So this is a nuked out class set, which some of you may have already seen that video. If you haven't, check it out. Absolutely insane. But this got me a nuked out in free-for-all. So an AccuSpot reflex, ported compensator, so a little bit different. This one's obviously a little bit different to what most people use, which is the compensator, but the first shot recoil control and vertical recoil control in this is very useful, so use that. Gain twist barrel, vertical foregrip, extended mag 1, quick draw grip, infiltrator stock, and recoil springs. Now, you're probably thinking, why just quick draw grip? It massively improves the aim down sight on this. I find it better than the ergonomic grip, and I feel like having that slightly better aim down sight time, because again, 185 milliseconds aim down sight time is super useful. And yes, the slide to fire speed is a little bit high, but most of the time I try not to slide and, be sliding around corners with an assault rifle just because it is an assault rifle. You're not really supposed to be sliding around the map with it. But that's the Krig C. Again, that got me a nuked out. So just saying, that is a very good class setup right there. Next up, the XM4. Now, this is, I think, a lot of people have labeled like one of the best guns in the game, if not the best gun in the game. I don't actually use this class up that much, but nonetheless, I have the Kepler micro reflex, the compensator, the gain twist barrel, the precision foregrip, extended mag 1, ergonomic grip, balanced stock, and recoil springs. Not too much to say for this for myself. I personally find this weapon to be pretty okay. It's good. It has its moments, but I find there are better weapons in my opinion. I know some people might disagree and think the XM4 is the best in the game. It might just be one of the easier guns to use, I think, in the game. That's what I think most people would say on the XM4, but for me, it's not quite up there. I'm not looking for it to get buffed, by the way, but if it did, then maybe it would be. But it does have an interesting thing where it does take advantage, actually, of a stock that I haven't found any useful yet with this. It's just too slow. Yes, it reduces the recoil so much. You could put rapid fire on as well when you use this stock. It still has zero recoil, but it's just too slow. So I'd personally avoid it on this weapon. But yeah, that's why I go with the balanced stock still, even over the brand new stock that was added to the game. Next up, this is my favorite loadout in the game. I love using this. This is the Model L, okay? And also, I am using the, Prestige 1, I believe you get it at. The STG looking, model of the Model L. Get that variant. It'll make it so much more useful for you because the iron sights are so clean. You don't have to use a red dot. If you want to use a red dot, you still can. But I personally like using it without a red dot and using the STG iron sights on the Model L. But compensator, reinforced barrel, precision foregrip, extended mag 1, commando grip, balanced stock, and recoil springs. Perfectly balanced class, great for like short range, medium range, long range. This is my go-to setup in the game right now. Again, I'm not labeling meta because I think every weapon has its place in this game. I think there is no absolute above and beyond best weapon in the game, but this is my favorite loadout to use in the entire game. Next up, the PP919. Now, this one has a different loadout because this is one of the weapons where I feel you can get away with just using 5 attachments and still be quite good. You can deck it out with primary gunfight if you really want to, but I think that's a little bit overkill with this. But I went with muzzle brake, reinforced barrel, ergonomic grip, balanced stock, and recoil springs. Only the 5 attachments, like I said. This weapon has it all. It has a large magazine size, great time to kill, really good at long ranges too. Like, it's got good bullet velocity in that. This is a very good all-round SMG. Like, it's not going to do super well up close. Like, so there are SMGs that are going to beat this, but it's still very, very competitive nonetheless. Like, it is just there when it is up, like, in the short range against other SMGs. Not as quick, but it's still great all-round. Definitely the most balanced SMG in the game. But I am using perk setup of using perk greed as well, and that's why I like this weapon too. I like being able to mix it up with this one. I can run ninja, double time, dexterity. I can kind of throw around my perks a little bit. So that's kind of what I do with that. But if you want to use primary gunfire, by all means go ahead, but I personally like using the 5 attachments. The Tanto, this thing is an absolute machine. This seems to not be used as much, which I'm quite shocked at because this SMG packs a punch. But the Kepler micro reflex, compensator, reinforced barrel, vertical foregrip, extended mag 1, commando grip, balanced stock, and recoil springs. You can use this with just the iron sights if you really want to, but I find the red dot just to be a little bit better than the iron sights, so I've personally went with that. It's a bit weird in SMG, but it seems to work because this thing shoots like crazy. Like, you can map people with this thing. You can beat assault rifles at those assault rifle ranges with this thing. Even though SMGs, I would say, are not as good as assault rifles in this game, I still think SMGs are a little bit behind assault rifles, which is fine. I feel like, you know, this game just has a lot of long range sight lines. Even with the shorter maps and stuff, I feel like assault rifles just a little bit do better than SMGs. But this packs a punch and can absolutely take on those assault rifles at those medium to long ranges. Next up, this is the AK-74 class. This is just, I've been using it. It does okay. It's not great. It's not awful. But the Kepler micro reflex, compensator, reinforced barrel, precision foregrip, extended mag 1, ergonomic grip, light stock, and recoil springs. You're probably seeing that there's quite a pattern to, like, most of these class subs do have pretty similar attachments. Some are slightly different, some variations. The AK-74 is good. It's not great. Could it do with a buff? I'm not sure. I feel like if this had a buff, it'd be too good, but then I feel like it also doesn't quite compete with the other assault rifles, and SMGs I definitely would use over this as well. So it's okay, but it's not great. It's one to use if you're trying to level up and, you know, get the camos done and stuff, then use this class set. But other than that, it's not too amazing. It's definitely probably 10 of 10 in this list. Next up, the ames 85. Again, another weapon I'm not using too much, but I am having a lot of success with. Like, I've found a pretty good, nice class up. I just think there are assault rifles that do a better job, or like the Model L and that just have just better all round, like the Krig C and the Model L, and we'll get to the Krig C. Oh, I've already spoke about the Krig C, sorry. But the ames 85 is pretty good. It just isn't better than the Krig C or the Model L. Those two are definitely above and beyond this. But nonetheless, the Kepler micro reflex, compensator, long barrel, vertical foregrip, extended mag 1, quick draw grip, light stock, and the 5.56 NATO over pressure to get that little bit more bullet velocity. I don't feel like this needs more recoil control. It just needs that little bit more bullet velocity so it can pack a punch. Next up, the AEK-973. This thing used to be an absolute beast. It's fallen down a little bit, but is still up there. I would definitely still recommend using this. A 3-round burst marksman rifle that can still 3-round burst to up to 25 meters. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't use it as much, probably because it's not as overpowered as it used to be. It was by far and away the best gun in the game, and was actually the first weapon I got a nuke with in this game. Shock horror. It was super overpowered, but anyway. Kepler micro reflex, compensator, reinforced barrel, precision foregrip, extended mag 1, ergonomic grip, balanced stock, and even though they nerfed it, I would still go with rapid fire. It still gives you that little bit more that you want with this. Without it, I feel like it's a little bit too slow. Still good. You can still kit it out to be quite, accurate. If you're one of those you want to be more precise, then more so than getting shots off quickly and being able to, repeatedly shoot those bursts quickly, then don't use rapid fire. Use the recoil springs. But personally, I think rapid fire is still just about good enough to be worth using on this weapon. And then finally, the last class up, the GPR 91. This assault rifle is actually statistically, I believe, the worst assault rifle in the game. But I like it. I really like this thing. This was the thing that I loaded up first, like, and I leveled up to the max and started like getting done quickly. I had a feeling it would be pretty good. I've heard this is actually really useful in Warzone if you are looking at these class setups and trying to use them for Warzone. So feel free to note this down. This class setup will be pretty good for Warzone probably. But the Kepler Micro Reflex, Compensator, Reinforced Barrel, Vertical Foregrip, Extended Mag, Commando Grip, Light Stock, and Recoil Springs. That is it. That is all my top 10 class setups. I do have other weapons that I'm leveling up and kind of finding a bit of success with, which might come into this top 10 list. So if you want me to do another top 10 best loadout list after a few patches now, because we have had a few patches now where some weapons have been buffed, some have been nerfed, certain attachments have been buffed on weapons, etc. And SMG's got buffed, assault rifles got nerfed. If we get another patch like that, I'm happy to do another top 10 best Black Ops 6 loadouts for you guys. If you guys want to, know anything about the class setups or have like some suggestions or want to know more about these class setups, leave some comments down below. I'll happily answer why I use these setups and why I use these attachments that I do. Let me know down below, what is your favorite Black Ops 6 loadout? What is your go-to weapon in Black Ops 6? But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe with notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.